What's up, everyone? Welcome into DodgerHeads presented by DodgerBlue.com. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined by Daniel Starkand. And what has been a disappointing but busy Monday ends. Not ends. Sure. I mean, who knows if this is the end of it, but there's a glimmer of good news in there. The Dodgers make a move. It's not Max Scherzer, who has gone to the Mets. It's not Corey Seager, who's gone to the Rangers. It's Daniel Hudson, old friend, as Daniel Starkand pointed out to me before we recorded. Daniel Hudson signs with the Dodgers, 1 year, $7 million. I'll get into his numbers here in just a moment. But Daniel, your immediate reaction to the Dodgers going out and adding a right-handed reliever to a bullpen situation that, was pretty good coming in.
Yeah. My immediate reaction is I like it a lot. I know, you just talked about how Daniel Hudson was on the Dodgers and how you didn't remember, and I can't fault you at all just because his time with the Dodgers was very forgettable. Like, he was pretty mediocre, but after leaving the Dodgers, like, he went to the Nats and ends up being like their closer on a World Series run and was lights out. And then has another really good season this past season. He got traded to the Padres in the middle of the year, but just to me, like, for my philosophy with bullpen, I feel like it's the Dodgers' philosophy too, just with everything we've seen the past few years, is you don't need to overpay bullpen guys. Like, you could find under the radar type guys like a Phil Bickford, Alex Vesia. Yeah. You could find guys who are really good, but you're not overpaying for them, like kind of like a Joe Kelly, like Corey Knebel type moves. And I think that's kind of where Daniel Hudson fits in. Like, 1 year, $7 million, that's very reasonable. Like, there's pretty much no risk involved at all there. And I think you're getting a guy who could be one of your high leverage guys. Like, he has closer experience. He has, setup guy type experience. Like, I don't think he needs to, I'm not expecting him to come in and be the closer, but if you want to keep Blake Treinen in his regular role that he had last season, and you're not re-signing Kenley Jansen, then hey, you could make Hudson your closer, and then you still have Treinen for the 7th and 8th or whatever, and all your other guys before that. So my first reaction is that I like it. I think we're both in agreement that bullpen is far from this team's biggest need, but it's not like they're putting serious resources there, like 1 year, $7 million. That's totally
I mean,
fine.
you look at Hudson's profile. He is an older guy, 36 years old, I believe, 34 years old. Excuse me. Come on, don't add a couple of years to the guy. But I mean, he's throwing 97 miles an hour. That was the average fastball velocity last season. Fastball, slider, kind of the two dominant pitches as far as what he's throwing last year. Fastball 68% of the time, slider 28% of the time. Justin Lorber pointed this out as I looked. I mean, the fastball is getting a whiff rate of 28%, which is fantastic. How about this? He throws 249 sliders and got a 50% whiff rate last season on his slider, which is fantastic. You look at the StatCast numbers, there's some encouraging stuff there. Expected weighted on base average, 83rd percentile. Expected ERA, 83rd percentile. Expected batting average, 90th percentile. Strikeout percentage, 97th percentile. Whiff percentage, 93rd percentile. Now, the flip side is there's some dark blue on that mark and on that chart as well. 13th percentile average exit velocity, 13th percentile hard hit percentage, and 2nd percentile when it comes to barrel rate. So what you get there could be slightly mysterious, but if you're optimistic like I tend to be, I assume the Dodgers are going to get the best out of somebody every time they bring them in, and with Daniel Hudson, it's no different. Last season, his numbers were, on the whole, pretty good. 2021, 3.31 ERA, 13.06 strikeouts per 9, which would have been best on the Dodgers last season. 2.79 walks per 9. That would have been the lowest of any relief pitcher the Dodgers had last year. So overall, positive for me. I like that they get a right-handed reliever. They got tons of lefties. I like that it's a 1 year deal, $7 million, no biggie to me. The question for me then would be how this impacts a guy like Joe Kelly. We just finished, what was funny is this news broke as Daniel and I were recording our 2022 bullpen look ahead kind of in regards to free agency. We were in the prediction section, and Daniel, just like a prophet, predicts Daniel Hudson to the Dodgers. It might have been because Jeff Passan had tweeted it 2 minutes prior to, but the question was, how does this impact Joe Kelly? So quickly, does this carve out room for Joe Kelly? Is there still room for Knebel or Jansen or Kelly to return, or do you think we've seen pretty much the finished product when it comes to the Dodgers bullpen?
Yeah, well, first of all, shout out to Jeff Passan, because he's the one baseball reporter who I have tweet notifications on for. So thankfully he broke this news, and it came right up on my phone making predictions. I was like, yeah, I think Daniel Hudson will be back. It happened. But no, I think I'd say there's probably still room for one more bullpen move, just because 1 year, $7 million. It's not like you're putting significant resources there. And I think you could go out and get another similar type guy for a similar type deal. Maybe it is Joe Kelly. And I think like for Joe Kelly, the AAV would be the same. Maybe he's a little younger, so maybe he gets like 2 or 3 years, but I would expect it to probably be around 7 million a year. So if you go out and re-sign Joe Kelly, then I'd say you're pretty much set, and you're adding two high leverage type guys, and you're getting them for basically the same price AAV wise that Kenley Jansen alone makes. So I think there's room for one more similar move. I think it will be Joe Kelly. It could be someone else. It could be Corey Knebel. It could be someone from outside the organization. Who knows? But I think there's room for one more move in there, just because if you're spending a combined 14-15 million on two high leverage guys, like that's really good value.
And part of this is with the Dodgers, as it always is, it's just a numbers crunch. I mean, you look at the bullpen as it's currently constructed. Again, there's going to be a piece posted with Daniel and I in the next couple of days, sort of long form looking at the bullpen, but you've got Trinan, you've got Gratterall, Bickford, Vesia, Canely, and Ferguson. Those are kind of 6 guys that, write those in ink, guys that as long as they are healthy, you're expecting them to be major contributors next season. You add Hudson, that's 7. Typically a bullpen's 8 guys, and that doesn't leave room for a guy like David Price and whether or not he's on the 40-man, whether or not he's on the roster come opening day. If you want to keep an extra starting pitcher around like Andre Jackson or Mitch White, there's no room for them. Evan Phillips, Victor Gonzalez, Justin Brule, Garrett Clevenger, all of those guys. So there is a little bit of a number crunch. The 40-man roster is full, so there is some stuff to watch there. Let me make one other note on Daniel Hudson while we're here from our friend Future Dodgers, Justin Lorber. He tweeted this out, and I thought this was good. He said, plenty to like with Hudson, namely upper 90s fastball, good traits, and the slider with the 50% whiff rate. But this is the part I found most interesting. He's another vertical four-seam right-hander, along with Canely to complement the sort of sinkers of Trinan and Gratterall. So one of the things in baseball now is you like different arm slots, you like different looks. Now you've got Canely and Hudson who have vertical moving four-seamers to go along with Trinan and Gratterall who have that nasty dying two-seamer. So an interesting thing to just think about construction-wise. Joe Kelly is more of the nasty sinker guy, although he can kind of do both. So that might explain why they went Hudson and over Kelly as far as a priority goes. Who knows? So we'll see. Daniel Hudson, a Dodger. Daniel and I, again, to be determined whether or not this is the only move the Dodgers make in the bullpen or whether there's still room for a Kenley Jansen reunion, a Joe Kelly reunion, a Corey Knebel reunion. I would say we both agree one more guy at the most would be added to this group. Do you think that's, unless there's a trade, unless they trade some of those guys that we just mentioned away to sort of solve some other problems?
Yeah, I'd agree with that just because you listed all the guys. And I know that's not accounting for injuries, which will happen, but I think they're pretty much set in the bullpen. So I think one more at max is fine. I think there's plenty of moves to be made in other areas, so you don't want to be addressing or putting too many of your resources towards the bullpen when there's still, as of now, they don't even have a fifth starter. As of now, there's some questions on the position player side after losing Corey Seager. So I think it's fair to say they're not going to make too many more bullpen moves, and also they're going to make their non-roster invitee minor league signing bullpen guys who we've never heard of or we don't think they're that good, and then by the middle of the season they might be key contributors. So I think there might be more bullpen moves to made, but as far as major league roster, significant money, maybe one more.
Well, there you go. Daniel Hudson, 2018 Dodger legend Daniel Hudson is back with the team in 2022. 1 year, $7 million deal reported by Jeff Passan. So let us know what you think in the comments below. Daniel Hudson, are you satisfied? Are the Dodgers done in the bullpen? What do you think? Let us know. That's Daniel Starkand. My name's Jeff Spiegel. As always, check out DodgerBlue.com, DodgerBlue1958 on social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and of course, ring the notification bell so that when things like this happen, you're the first to know and you've got our analysis. We appreciate you joining us. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you soon.